Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back from the short break. Before the short break, we had started discussing some history and key milestones of agroecology. I remember we had talked about how there was the development of agroecological research and practices, emphasizing integrated pest management and organic farming, and which started actually between the 1960s and 1970s. I remember I was telling you about the disease triangle, which agroecologists can actually do without having to use the toxic chemicals, and they can manage pests and diseases in agricultural production if they actually dislodged one of the sides of that triangle. And I had talked about the triangle comprising of a virulent pathogen, a susceptible host, and a conducive environment. The moment you dislodge any of those sides of the triangle, then the disease will not actually take place. Even the pests may not actually create a big damage to your crop or livestock. I also talked about how in the 1990s there was establishment of networks and organizations promoting agroecology, and I gave an example of Agroecology Research Group and the International Society of Agroecology. In the 2010s, there was increasing recognition by international bodies, including the United Nations, promoting agroecology as key to achieving sustainable development goals. That was a very big breakthrough when agroecology, which actually started in that humbleness that I have been talking about, now started getting recognized by the United Nations. Now, I would like to talk about the really chronological events and personalities that are very, very important in agroecology. In 1930s, the term agroecology was first used to describe the ecological study of agricultural system. And in the 1940s, that is when S.A. de Andrade started contributing a lot of the importance of ecological principles in agriculture, and this was a scientist in Brazil. In the 1960s, there also emerged yet a very popular figure today, that is M.A. Altieri, whom you will actually find in most books he has published very widely about agroecology. He began actually to advocate for sustainable agricultural practices that integrate ecological science with farming in the 1960s. I know most of you who are not here. Perhaps your parents were the ones who are still very young during that time. Then in the 1970s, there was an international conference on agrarian reform and rural development. This was held in Italy, which emphasized the need for sustainable agricultural practices and lay groundwork for agroecological approaches. In the 1980s, the Food and Agriculture Organization started to promote agroecological practices as a response to the negative impacts of industrial agriculture. In the 1983, agroecology as a discipline emerged, and the first significant academic programs in agroecology were established, but this was particularly in Latin America. In the 1990s, the International Society of Agroecology was founded to promote agroecological research and practices globally. In the 1996, World Food Summit called for sustainable agriculture and food security, recognizing the importance of agroecology in achieving these goals. In the year 2000, more emerging networks came up, and there was the formation of various networks and organizations such as the Agroecology Research Group promoting agroecological practices and research. In 2018, that was when we got the UN declaration, and the United Nations recognized agroecology as a vital approach to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals, emphasizing its role in food sovereignty and food resilience. Actually, in conclusion, agroecology has evolved from traditional practices to a recognized scientific discipline and movement, advocating for sustainable agriculture that harmonizes ecological health with food production. And its history reflects a growing awareness of the need for sustainable practices in the face of modern agricultural challenges. Why this history is very, very important? We need all of us to appreciate that agroecology is not something that is just popping up now. It is something that have started quite a number of decades ago. It is something that started long ago, and it has been tested. It has gone through a lot of testing. There are so many experiences that have actually come out of agroecology, and when we are trying to advocate for it now, it is not something experimental. It is something that has proven, that has proved that it can create sustainability in agricultural production, and it can withstand a lot of challenges. Now, before I go to another part, I would like to say that it is important for us to know the theories of agroecology. For anything that can actually stand the test of time, for anything that can transform the lives of people, that can create change in the world, there must be some proven knowledge about it. And we have got some theories about agroecology which actually can guide us in understanding this particular discipline properly. But when I'm talking about theories of agroecology, I would like all of us to be very sure that we understand what a theory or what theories mean exactly. A theory provides a comprehensive explanation of aspects of the natural or social world based on solid evidence, meaning that it is a well-substantiated explanation. So when we are talking about a theory, we are not saying that a theory that is something that a person sleeps and dreams about only. No. We are talking about something which has got solid evidence and which has actually had proper explanations, so that when you are trying to do something, you can base on that solid explanation to understand that what you are doing is in the right direction. A theory organizes knowledge and helps predict outcomes, offering a structured way to understand phenomena. Meaning that basing on a certain theory, you can actually be put into a situation, into a framework of understanding what you are about to move into. Like now, when we are trying to tell you about agroecology and you want to understand it properly, you really go back to the theories and say, really, is what we are being taught something that is feasible, something that is realistic, or something that what we are hearing can be tested against another thing that is already known. So the theory organizes knowledge, and it will help you predict the outcome. So if you go to understand the theories of agroecology, you would actually know how you can predict what could be the outcome of your studies or even the outcome of the discipline that we are offering, which is agroecology. And a good theory can be tested through experiments and observations, and it can be disproven if new evidence arises. A theory is not cast in stone and rock, no. A theory, first of all, like I said, has got solid evidence. It doesn't come up, just pop up anyhow. It has to have a lot of evidence. But as life moves on, very many things can change. And when they change, one can continue experimenting, can continue investigating that theory. And if perhaps because of the changes that have taken place over time, that theory no longer works or is no longer relevant, it can be changed. So this means that a theory, a good theory, should be testable and falsifiable. If we look at the theories that we shall go through in this session, you can always think of whether they are still candid and valid, and if you think they have some gaps, we can actually think as scholars of how we can bring up new evidence to falsify them, or if we find that they are still relevant, we go by them. And theories can evolve as new evidence and understanding develops. It means these ones are subject to change. I would be very glad if some of you did a real in-depth research and can say, no, I think this theory may not be working properly, especially in the discipline of agroecology. So theories exist across various disciplines, including scientific and social theories, and are more validated than mere hypotheses. We can have a hypothesis. You just think about something that this one may work like this one. No, that is just a mere hypothesis. But a theory is something deeper and more dependable. That it is not going to be in the category of a hypothesis. There are different types of theories, but all of them have actually real validated evidence. They have a way they organize knowledge to help predict correctly what is coming in the future, and they can try to explain comprehensively the aspects of the natural or social world, all based on solid evidence. So we shall try to talk about the different theories that we have that underpin agroecology. We have got three very important theories which we can talk about here, but of course there are many more. There is the systems theory by Whitchurch and Constantine of 2009. This system encourages looking at the whole system rather than just individual parts, and this means understanding how various components work together. We also have the system of agroecology theory, controversy and governance by Angion et al. Of 2014. We also have the complexity theory by Wolbe in 2007. These theories, properly understood, will actually guide our study so that we understand agroecology more precisely. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we can have a short break, and we shall come after that break to discuss some of these theories. Until then, I wish you a good day. Thank you.